Hi, and welcome back to Rick's Room. Now, this is the show where we simulate the end of a busy conference day when we're finally sitting in a comfortable seat, maybe in a hotel lobby or the hotel bar, and we finally see someone coming across the room that we've wanted to talk to all day and just haven't had the opportunity. Well, my guest today is exactly the kind of person I would wait in the lobby for a long time to meet. We first met when we were working on a major technology initiative for a very large company. She came in as a customer experience expert. She's published in that, came in to help us understand the UI so we could better attract the users. She did a fantastic job. And today she works on a project called Noted. And she's going to tell us all about that today. Please join me in welcoming Pamela Herrmann. Pam, thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Rick.
Now, how much of that introduction did I mess up? That was all true, right?
Beautiful. Yeah, I love it. Wow.
Well,
I mean, it'd be like we'd have cocktails in our hands and say.
That's right. Well, we should,
Yes,
and that's a future version of this podcast. I'm not quite there yet. Yeah. Now, first of all, the journey that you've taken has been incredibly interesting to watch because when you started, you were focused on customer experience. Tell us a little bit about that and how you got from there to where you are now.
Sure. So my orientation to any sort of brand experience has always been outside in. It's what is the customer experiencing? And really, when we think about the life cycle of customers, my department that I sat in was marketing, but really my orientation was from the first moment they clicked on an ad or any sort of an interaction, a sales call, all the way through to when they're making a decision as to whether they're going to repurchase with you, re-up. And that life cycle really is marketing's job. So I always brought to every organization that I joined this outside-in perspective. What is the customer looking for? What are they challenged with? And how is it that we can create a consistent brand experience through all the handoffs that happen, especially with larger organizations? You have more people touching the customer, and are we all singing from the same songbook? So yes, my orientation has always been around the customer experience, and I just am obsessed with it. I just think it's the pathway to every successful interaction we could ever have. So that's it.
I love that, Pam. And now I've studied a lot of marketing. I've written about marketing. I've done a lot of marketing. And what I have found is that too many professional marketers focus on that first interaction, and then that's it. It's transactional. They got the customer. Their job is done. They move on. But the way you describe it is something really quite different. And it explains to me why you've been able to work so successfully in a number of industries. So trace a path for us. When we met, we were working in technology. And then what happened after that?
So yes, you're absolutely right. I think a lot of money gets wasted in marketing. And I think this is why that's one of the departments that has one of the more difficult remits across an organization, is that we need to think about, listen, we could spend a lot of money on marketing dollars, but if we can't get them to engage and to stay, and more importantly, to tell others, then it's all for naught. So where it is evolved to today started with a phone call to my mom and dad. They were both in their 90s, and they said, hey, I'd really like to, we'd like to just age in place in our home. They finally made the decision in their 90s. And none of my siblings lived near them.
Yeah, but you didn't live near them either, right?
Wait, hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's my seagulls.
I'm like, what are we?
No, yeah. I live on the shores of Lake Michigan. This is breeding season, and those animals, they go crazy. I apologize.
But no, please don't. I just wanted to pause in case that was just like the technology grinding.
Yeah, an emergency beacon or something. No, nothing like that. So, but you didn't live close to your parents either, really? Weren't you in Denver or someplace like that?
Yeah, I was in Colorado. My mom and dad were in the San Francisco Bay Area, and they did make that decision that they wanted to age in place. And my youngest was in college. So there's 5 kids in my family, and I was the most available. So I said, I'll go and live in your in-law unit and just make sure you guys are safe and you have everything you need and be your medical advocate. And what surprised me was that I just went in blind, just like any other family caregiver out there. I really didn't know anything about it. Um, what I came to learn, and really what was the impetus for this technology noted that I created, was that people that are sitting in my seat are the first people to notice meaningful change in a loved one's condition. They might be really, really subtle, but those observations rarely make it into the healthcare system in a useful way. And I even have a few regrets for things that I didn't act on because while I recognized it, I didn't understand that it was important or meaningful or a part of a larger um, negative change in either my mom's situation or in my dad's situation. So, significant observations that I was seeing day to day were really not getting cataloged in any sort of way or really put into any sort of a meaningful organization. So, noted the product that I created, and I really sat down and I thought we need to try to figure out how to capture caregiver observations was really born out of that. It's just like I don't know anything from anything, and there's got to be a way for us to take these small little observations and take 10 seconds to drop it into an app and transform those observations into meaningful patterns over time so that when I take a parent to the doctor's appointment and they say, "How's everything going?" Instead of it being anecdotal or top of mind, it can be, "Here's a log of everything and here's what it means. Now, what do we do from a diagnostic and a treatment perspective?" And it does a couple really powerful things. It's able now to relieve some of the cognitive overload that I have as a caregiver, number one. Number two, it gives it meaningful context as to what's significant in a decline for an elderly person. And number three, and probably most importantly, it accelerates the knowledge of what the physician has so that they can diagnose and treat faster. We only have 15 minutes with physicians typically, and so this really helps to accelerate early interventions, keeping them out of the ER, keeping them out of assisted living. So what I'm really building here is just a bridge between what happens at home and what clinicians are doing during a medical appointment.
Oh, Pam, that is great. Because of the way demographics is shaped right now, more and more of us are finding ourselves in your position as a caregiver for our older family members. But you didn't just do the work, you decided to change the way the work was done. I'm amazed by this, man. This is great. So, what was the thinking process? How did you realize that there was a missing tool that you could develop?
It was really an evolution of thinking. It started with I'm not able to work full time and care for my mom and dad. So while I'm taking a break from my career, what can I jump into just so I have some valuable skills when I come back into the market? And AI, this was a few years ago, was the natural thing to dive into. It was through learning about AI agents that I started to understand, wow, the stuff that I don't know but I have a little bit of knowledge around, it can really help to backfill. So the perfect storm happened in my world where I really wanted to understand how to do a better job for my mom and dad, but the tools didn't exist or I couldn't find them. And so that was really the beginning. And then I started jumping into webinars listening to physicians. Specifically, this was with Kaiser. And the physicians are like, look, we realize that we have an open loop or a gap as to what is happening at home. And if there are solutions out there that can help us extend a sight line back into the home, that would be really helpful for us. We can save a lot of money. We can keep people out of hospitals. We can get solutions at home faster. We understand that more families are taking care of aging loved ones at home, but we've got to close this gap. And that's really when the ideas kind of synthesized in my head. It was really a galvanizing point when I thought there's something here that I'm going to build and I want to capture something that is really anecdotal, or we're putting it on sticky notes, or
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
keeping it in our brain and getting overwhelmed with
yeah.
hanging on to the details. So that's really where there was a convergence of thoughts as to how I can bring AI and the ease of building something into a family care system.
Pam, that is a fantastic story. Now, I started playing with AI early on too. I'm an old tech reporter. I loved it, but it's not really easy. I mean, you really have to put time and thought into this. What what gave you the certainty that you could go down this path and produce something as cool as what you have now? How did you do that?
Well, even in the couple of years that I've been doing it, it's been transformed even just in the last 6 months. I mean, the acceleration with which you can have a thought and then you can jump into Claude Code and say, here's what I'm thinking about, here's what I'm struggling. When you really get good at asking it questions, and this is almost like engineering of questions so that the technology can help you think through a solution, and then you pair it with other technologies like Replit. You can get in there and you can build something, and you could build anything just with those two tools talking together. The really critical part, this is why today I don't think that AI can operate on its own. You really still need to have the human intelligence to understand what questions to ask it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
to say, what about this over here? Because it doesn't have all the answers. But the better that you get with designing questions for it, the better the output is. So I really think that's the most important thing. You've got to be you've got to have some knowledge of the problem and some understanding or curiosity around the question, so that you get the questions to ask, right? The
Yeah.
curiosity, so
Yeah.
that you ask AI how to help you design this and really
Yeah.
challenge it.
Yeah. And you have to be some kind of a superhuman who can take care of the parents, do all that work, all that, and still be able to think about how can we do this better. Pam, I got to hand it to you. That is amazing. Now tell me, people are going to want to know more about this. What's the easiest way for them to learn more about what you're doing?
Well, you can head over to my website. It's called Itinerist, itinerist.org. Go there. You
Uh-huh.
can learn a little bit more about it. You can jump into the tool for free. We're looking for pilot users right now.
Oh, good.
And so you can come in for free, test it out, give us your feedback. It is ready for prime time. It is a beautiful user experience, and 10 seconds a day just to capture some observations. Let us do the rest of the work, and we'll let you know when you need to raise your hand with a physician and say,
Yeah, and what a
how's this
weight
going?
off the shoulders of the caregiver that they're not going to miss something, or that they're not going to give the doctor enough information to do the right thing for their parents. Uh, Really, really well done. Pam, if somebody wants to email you directly, can they do that?
They can indeed. Pamela at itinerist.org.
Okay. All right. We've been visiting with Pam Herrmann. Pam, we've just scratched it. We didn't even get to catch up on this call. So I'm going to have to ask you to come back on the
I
show in
love
the
it.
future. Pamela Herrmann, she owns Noted. She's created it. You find out more at itinerist.com. Pam, thanks for being with me today.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate your time.